What makes a life truly meaningful? This question echoes in the hearts of those who embark on spiritual journeys, and few figures in history exemplify this quest better than Leo Tolstoy. Tolstoy, a man of towering intellect, immense creativity, and unrelenting spiritual hunger, did not live a life of quiet contentment. Instead, his existence was marked by profound questioning, relentless searching, and an eventual transformation that remains a beacon for those who grapple with the same eternal questions. Tolstoy was born in 1828 into an aristocratic family in Russia, where privilege, wealth, and status were woven into the fabric of his existence from the very beginning. His early life was a tapestry of comfort, yet it was also tinged with tragedy. Both his parents died when he was young, leaving a void that would shape his sensitivity to the fragility of human life. As a boy, Tolstoy was curious, deeply introspective, and drawn to the mysteries of the world around him. However, his path seemed to lead him not toward answers but into the tumult of human desires and worldly distractions. In his youth, Tolstoy immersed himself in a lifestyle that epitomized indulgence. Gambling, womanizing, and the relentless pursuit of pleasure marked his early years. He sought meaning in sensation, in the tangible highs that life could offer, but these pursuits left him feeling hollow. It was as though the more he grasped for satisfaction in the external world, the more aware he became of an aching void within. The seeds of his existential crisis were sown during these years, though he could not yet articulate the questions that would later consume him. Tolstoy's literary genius became apparent as he transitioned into adulthood. His early works, such as Childhood, Boyhood, and Youth, demonstrated his uncanny ability to capture the complexity of human emotions and the subtleties of life. These autobiographical sketches hinted at his evolving understanding of the human condition, though they did not yet grapple with the deeper spiritual dilemmas that would come to define his later works. His fame grew, and with it came the trappings of success. Yet even as he achieved literary acclaim, he remained restless, a man haunted by questions he could not yet name. The turning point in Tolstoy's life came during his military service, and the subsequent writing of his epic works War and Peace and Anna Karenina. These novels, celebrated for their sweeping scope and profound insights into human nature, established Tolstoy as one of the greatest writers of all time. But beneath the surface of his creative triumphs, a deeper struggle brewed. The grandeur of his works, the applause of society, and the comforts of his privileged life could not silence the gnawing question, what is the purpose of all this? For Tolstoy, the completion of Anna Karenina marked the beginning of a profound existential crisis. He was at the pinnacle of his career, a celebrated artist with a loving family and an enviable lifestyle. Yet he found himself staring into the abyss of despair. The question of life's meaning pressed upon him with unbearable weight. He began to question the very foundations of his existence. Why do we live? Why do we suffer? What is the point of our struggles if death erases everything in the end? Tolstoy turned to philosophy, religion, and the intellectual traditions of his time, hoping to find answers. He devoured the works of great thinkers, but their ideas offered little solace. Rationality and logic could not quell the storm within him. The more he sought meaning in the constructs of human thought, the more elusive it seemed. In his writings, he likened his state of mind to that of a man hanging over a precipice, clinging to a branch while knowing that it, too, would eventually give way. This inner turmoil brought Tolstoy to the brink of suicide. He later recounted that he had hidden ropes to avoid the temptation of hanging himself and removed firearms from his home for fear of using them. It was a dark night of the soul, a period in which the man who had given the world such luminous works of art found himself utterly bereft of light. But it was in the depths of this despair that Tolstoy experienced a profound spiritual awakening. He began to look beyond the intellectual elite and the constructs of organized religion. Instead, he turned to the simple, unadorned faith of the Russian peasants. Their unwavering belief in something greater, their ability to endure suffering with grace and humility, and their sense of community and purpose struck a chord within him. For the first time, he saw a path toward meaning that was not rooted in wealth, power, or intellect, but in the heart. This newfound faith transformed Tolstoy's life. He renounced his former lifestyle, rejected the privileges of his class, and sought to live in alignment with the principles he now held dear. He embraced a philosophy of non-violence, simplicity, and service to others. His later works, such as The Kingdom of God is Within You, reflect his belief in the power of love and spiritual awakening, to transcend the limitations of human existence. Yet, this transformation was not without its challenges. Tolstoy's radical shift in beliefs created tension within his family, particularly with his wife, Sophia. Their relationship, once a source of joy, became strained as Tolstoy's spiritual quest led him further away from the life they had built together. He struggled to reconcile his newfound ideals with the practical realities of his life, a struggle that many spiritual seekers will recognize. In his later years, Tolstoy became a figure of both inspiration and controversy. His teachings on nonviolence influenced figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr., yet his rejection of institutional religion and the established order made him a target of criticism. He was excommunicated from the Russian Orthodox Church, an act that pained him deeply, but did not deter him from his path. He continued to write, teach, and live according to his convictions, even as he faced opposition from those who could not understand his journey. Tolstoy's quest for the meaning of life is a testament to the human spirit's capacity for transformation. His story resonates because it is, at its core, a story of struggle. It is the story of a man who dared to confront the void, who wrestled with the most profound questions of existence, and who, in the process, discovered a deeper, more enduring sense of purpose. For those who walk the spiritual path, Tolstoy's life serves as both a mirror and a guide. It reminds us that the search for meaning is not a linear journey, but a winding road filled with challenges, revelations, and moments of profound grace. In the end, Tolstoy's life was not a solution to the mystery of existence, but an invitation to engage with it fully. His writings, his struggles, and his ultimate transformation remind us that the search for meaning is not about finding definitive answers, but about living the questions with courage and humility. Tolstoy once wrote, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself." His life exemplifies the power of inner transformation, to illuminate not only one's own path, but also the paths of others. As we reflect on Tolstoy's journey, we are reminded that the quest for meaning is a universal human endeavor. It transcends time, culture, and individual circumstances. Whether we are drawn to the simplicity of faith, the complexity of philosophy, or the raw immediacy of human connection, Tolstoy's life invites us to seek with open hearts and minds. In the end, it is not the answers we find, but the depth of our searching that gives life its meaning. Tolstoy's later years were a paradoxical mixture of serenity and conflict. He found peace in his spiritual practices, his connection to the land, and his engagement with the simple lives of peasants. But he also faced immense challenges. The philosophical and religious truths he embraced demanded sacrifices that alienated him from many of his closest companions. His commitment to living authentically meant rejecting the wealth and status he had once taken for granted, and this alienation was a source of ongoing pain. His writings during this period reflect an unyielding commitment to truth and justice. Tolstoy became a vocal critic of the state and the church, institutions he believed perpetuated violence and inequality. His essays and pamphlets such as What I Believe and A Confession were groundbreaking in their critique of organized religion and the hypocrisies of society. These works inspired countless readers to question their own beliefs and consider alternative ways of living, grounded in compassion and non-violence. Despite his fame, Tolstoy longed for anonymity and simplicity. He grew increasingly disillusioned with the trappings of fame and the expectations placed upon him as a public figure. He felt that his true calling lay not in being celebrated, but in living as a humble servant of truth. This inner conflict reached its climax in the final years of his life, culminating in his decision to leave his family estate in search of a life more in harmony with his ideals. In the early hours of a cold October morning in 1910, Tolstoy departed Yasnaya Polyana, his ancestral home, accompanied by only a few close companions. His departure was both a physical and symbolic act, a renunciation of worldly attachments and a final attempt to live in alignment with his spiritual convictions. The journey was short-lived, as he fell ill and passed away at a remote railway station shortly afterward. His death marked the end of an extraordinary life, but also the beginning of a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day. Tolstoy's life story is not merely one of a great artist or thinker, but of a man who dared to ask the most fundamental questions of existence and to seek answers with every fiber of his being. His journey reminds us that the path to meaning is rarely straightforward or easy. It is a path that requires courage, humility, and an unwavering commitment to truth. For those who are willing to embark on this journey, Tolstoy's life stands as a guiding light. illuminating the way forward even in the darkest of times.